What's up, Solar Warriors? Today is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. My name is Jarrett McAllister, the virtual solar pro, and this is Tuesday training. If you're watching this on YouTube, you know what to do. Smash that like button, share this video with your fellow solarpreneurs, like the video and drop a comment, man. We'd like to hear what you have to say. Super excited for today's training. We have Stuart Miller from Tesla to come on and have a conversation with us and talk to us about their Powerwall 3. I am alongside my co-host, Mr. Tom Cotter. What's up, my brother? How are you?
I'm doing pretty awesome, man. Doing very good. Welcome, everybody. Glad you are here. This is going to be a great topic today, and I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this.
I have been. We were supposed to do this last Tuesday, but due to some crowd strike, cyber security, I don't know, Microsoft screwed the pooch. I don't know all the technical details behind it, but a lot of people got locked out, including Stuart, out of his computer. Elon needs to have some servers going so we don't have to deal with that type of stuff anymore. That would be kind of cool. But hey, before we go off on a weird, crazy tangent about cybersecurity, let's get into some success stories like we do every single week. So if you helped a family go solar, and I know there's a ton of you out there that did over this past week, grew your team, overcame some adversity, let's hear about it. Raise your hand, drop it in the chat, and I will call on you and we will have a little discussion before we move on to a quote from Tom. So Joseph, I know that you mentioned something before we started this recording. We were talking Tesla. You're fired up. What do you got going on, Joseph? Unmute yourself first. There you go.
It's the end of the month right now, and I'm driving in my EV charger, visiting people, trying to stay on that leaderboard, man. You know, I'm motivated right now. I mean, the solar is back, man. I'm excited. I'm on my way to another guy I've been working on. Some of these people I've been working on a freaking year, man. A year. And I won't give up, man. I'll just keep going after it till they either sign up with me or tell me to F off. And they don't do that because I'm professional about what I do. I'm here to help people. And, you know, the only way I'll mark them off is if they go with another solar company. But I'm like a pit bull on a bone right now, man. I'm trying to get to that impact journey. It would be a great honor to be a part of that group and be part of those 30 people that go there. And I think it'll be a life-changing experience. So I'm going in like Jack Lambert on this, buddy.
Dude, I love it. Buy, die, or cry. That's the mentality, right? It's like, I ain't stopping until you tell me no. And that's a great point. You know, if they don't say no, it's probably just a not right now. And timing is everything, right? So you said you have homeowners you've been, following up with for over a year or someone around a year. Sometimes it's just all about the right timing. They might have a lot of stuff going on. They don't feel the impact. But I tell you what, right now, 30th of July, people are getting their summer bills and I'm getting hit up like crazy. I have homeowners hitting me up with $500-$700 bills. And they're like, this madness has to stop. Jarrett, can you help me? Can you save me? You know the answer to that. Absolutely. 100% I can. No money out of pocket, batteries, everything, cutting their bills, slashing prices. So no, it's a great time to be in solar. I want to give a shout out to Don Moy, who is a mentor on our platform, but has been extremely busy and tagged me on a few projects recently. And just on Friday, her family has a family member out in Massachusetts who we helped out go solar. We ended up going with a Sonova lease, made a ton of sense. She saw it first time she sees the proposal. She said, how do we move forward? Let's get this party started. So shout out to Don Moy, closing another deal with her. Any other success stories? Feel free. Love to hear it. Cynthia, where are you going? Talk to us about your success. We want to hear from you. Unmute and don't crash.
I'm on my way to meet someone else in Powur to give them some event stuff so they can have an event tomorrow because we're going to work on generating some leads.
Love it. What kind of event is it? You want to plug the event? Go ahead.
I'm not working the event myself, so I'm not sure, but we're always just out here networking. So,
Great job. All right. Love it. Well,
oh, actually,
here we go.
I do have a success story. Last week, I hosted a professional mixer in the city of Upland, and I had like 40 professionals there, and I got a bunch of contacts and a bunch of people, a bunch of new, not a bunch, but a handful of followers that are power partners for solar. And so that was a huge success. So that's all I have.
Massive success. Absolutely crushing it. Great job, Cynthia. As always, cruising in her Tesla. How fitting. All right, John, I see your hand raised. What you got, brother?
Nice to see you, my friend.
Always.
Yes, as usual. Delivered a couple of thank you gifts yesterday and knocked a couple doors I had knocked before, just saying hi to them again. One person I had gone to 4 times in the last, I don't know, month or two. Just every time I'm in the neighborhood, I say, do you mind if I come back and see you next time? And he kept saying, yeah, I'm going to share my bill. This time I didn't say a word. I just went to the door, knocked on it, smiled at the front door, and he opened the door and he goes, all right, give me your email. That was the whole interaction. So he sent me the bill right on the spot, which was beautiful. I went around the corner, got another bill, and then later on that evening, I helped another client go solar and save like 60 grand. So I am very excited about seeing everybody's success on this platform. And then I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine. So it's like life is good, man.
That's all. The power of persistence. Fortune is in the follow-up. All the great things, taking action. Love it, John. And yeah, I saw Wolverine, Deadpool. That was 2 hours, 7 minutes of pure entertainment. That was really good. That was really good.
It was fun.
But don't let your kids see that. That is not appropriate.
I took my kid. Thank you. All right, too late. Sorry.
I'm guessing they're over 18 because
yeah. It's funny. All right, man. I'm not gonna talk about Deadpool anymore.
All right, man. Thank you for sharing that. Sweet, brother. Well, hey, thank you everybody for sharing your success stories. We are going to move on to Tom, my man. You have a quote for everybody today?
I started reading this book that I wanted to share, actually. It's called Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again. And I started reading this book. I'd seen it recommended by a bunch of different people, but I started putting onto my calendar 5 or 6 days a week, like a time block, an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours on a couple days a week of deep work. And I got into that and I realized, man, it's really hard to sit here for 2 hours straight, especially for 4 hours straight, without text messages and, checking social. I just kept finding myself getting distracted. And so I got this book, and Johann Hari is his name. So he jumps into the reasons behind this. It's really an epidemic, as he describes it, of distractions and the inability to focus. So this book, Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again, it explores the various parts of our society, technology, social media, constant connectivity, having contributed to shortened attention spans and decreased ability to think deeply. So he talks about how we're always bombarded with info and stimuli that really leads to a state of perpetual distraction. And he talks about the impact of multitasking, stress, lack of mindfulness on our cognitive abilities. And so it's a book that I wanted to recommend if you find it difficult when you sit down to be able to do the tasks that you need to do for your business. So he said in his book, and I wanted to just read this quote here. He said, "The ability to focus is key to solving almost every problem we face, individually and collectively. Without focus, we're living like a wind-up toy, bouncing helplessly from one distraction to another. But with focus, we can achieve extraordinary things, personally and together. Our lives can become deeper, richer, more connected, and more meaningful." So take this as a challenge. If you have recognized this distracted, inability to focus for extended periods of times in your own life, Maybe it's a book you want to read. There's other books on the topic as well. But to start to think about how you can carve out periods of more focus, less distraction in order to accomplish what you have for yourself, what your future is going to be like. So I think it's a timely book. And I think it's, we're not going to go live in a cabin up in the woods. Sorry if you live in a cabin up in the woods. That sounds amazing. But, we're all going to be connected because of the type of work that we do. But this idea of carving out periods of focus with less distractions, no distractions, I think is really interesting. So just wanted to share that book with y'all.
Man, no lie, I think I need that book. I 100% fall victim to distractions and social media and our phones. And last time when we went on Father's Day weekend, we went camping somewhere where there was no service, no internet service. And I actually found myself reading a book, connecting with my children more, right? Deep conversations with my wife. It's something that we all kind of fall victim to. And yeah, if you can drop a link in the chat to that book, because it sounds like a lot of people would want to
I'll share
pick that one up.
Yeah, it was interesting. He last week when I was listening to this too, he said when you get distracted from a task, it takes 23 minutes on average to get back to that same place you were at, if you ever get back. And that distraction can just be a text, right?
So true. Oh, it's everything. I mean, you know what? We're going to get off onto a huge tangent about this topic, but no, man. Yeah. If you could drop a link to the audiobook or the book in there, that would be awesome. People are asking for it. Yep. Stolenfocusbook.com. Thank you, Bill Conley, for dropping that. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, Tom. And, real quick, just a little bit of housekeeping before we move on to Stuart is I think we should just talk about one event in particular, and that's Masterclass. That is tomorrow. Go on powercalendar.com. All the details are there. Tom, do you have anything you'd like to share about this Masterclass specifically?
It's important for a lot of different reasons. But one of the things that it will do is it'll help you see a more clearer vision for your own business and for where Powur is headed. There's so much happening in the industry right now. Last night, if you saw it on the calendar, we had a special event for SunPower dealers. SunPower is going through a lot of challenges right now, and 400 dealers are trying to figure out what's next for them, basically. So there's a lot of things happening in our industry, our company, and it's critical for you to show up to things like Masterclass that we do once a quarter. This is the last one before Power World in Orlando. Jonathan's going to be making some big announcements once again tomorrow. So show up. It's at 9 a.m. Pacific. It goes for 4 hours approximately. And, we have some breaks in there too. So you're not just sitting there the whole time.
Great stuff. Yeah. So make sure, get on powercalendar.com. Tammy asked if she can invite guests. Why not? You want to show people what Power's all about? Bring them on. I got no beef with that. Okay. Well, thank you guys for all sitting through, and thank you, Tom. Let's kick this thing off. Mr. Stuart Miller from Tesla. For those of you who don't know, Powur partnered with Tesla a while back, and we have been offering the Powerwall 3 over the past, what's it been? 4 months, 3.5 months, 4 months. And it's been an absolute game changer for our sales process, especially out here in California, but in the industry, nationwide. This is the future of technology, future of solar. There's so many advantages to using the Powerwall 3. And Stuart is going to get into it. Stuart, are you there?
He says he's on mute and he can't turn his camera on.
That's fun. Sounds like they're still hacking his computers. All right, hold on. Let's see if we can ask to unmute. Where's he at?
He's a co-host, so he should be able to.
Still won't let me. Stuart, why don't you try to maybe log out, log back in? I don't know.
Hey, Stuart, maybe join with your phone, and maybe you
There you
could do it
go.
through your phone and stay on as a visual.
Yeah, he'll be back.
He'll figure it out. But yeah, you guys, I don't know about you, but over the past, I don't know, like I said, about 2-3 months since we've started offering Powerwall 3, that's all I've been offering. Oh, here's Stuart Miller back here. Obviously 13.5 kilowatt hour size battery, including backup, cheaper than non-backup options. It's phenomenal. There's so much value there. The price performance is there. Stuart, are you there? Still won't let me.
That was a minute ago, so
Oh, okay. I don't know.
it's those Teams guys that can't figure Zoom out.
Come on, Stu.
Yeah,
Where you at?
it could be a security thing on his Tesla laptop.
Sure. Well, I think Owen's suggestion of him hopping on his phone,
Yeah,
would definitely work. Unless he's got one of those new Tesla phones.
Stuart, I'll send you the whole invitation so that if you want to, you can join via phone.
Got it.
I'll text it to you on your phone too while Jarrett's filling some
Distracting.
time here.
Yeah, blowing time. So I want to know from you guys, have you been offering the Powerwall 3 to your homeowners? Joseph has been, Owen has been, Tracy has been. I'm getting 100%. Bill Conley said absolutely yes. Bill, you said that you helped 6 homeowners go solar this past week. I'm guessing the majority of those were in California. Great job, first of all. I know they needed batteries. So how many of those 6 projects had Tesla Powerwalls?
All the ones I did with batteries were Powerwall 3s. And they're all in PG&E, so they all get the bus backup. So that's about
Awesome.
a $4,000 difference too.
Wow, incredible. No, it is huge. And we have Stuart here. What's up, bro?
There he
Stuart,
is.
you made it.
Sorry about that. It's obviously some security thing, but I was able to jump on a Zoom earlier with a different team. It's really strange, but sorry about that technical difficulty. Good to be here and good to see everybody. Thanks, Jarrett, for having me, and Tom, and I know Jonathan isn't here, but regardless, yes, pumped to be here and be a part of your guys' advanced training on Tesla Powerwall 3, and hopefully we can all learn something today. Just a quick background on me. I've been in the industry 17 years. I've done everything from knocking doors, sitting down in meetings. I've gone through all the stages. And I jumped over to the finance side and then made my way over to Tesla in the last a little over a year. I was at SunPower, which, Tom alluded to as having some challenges across the country. And, obviously it's not great for our industry. We don't like to see big partners go down like that. And hopefully, they're able to find some sort of footing. But I came from SunPower, and when I learned about what Tesla is going into in the future, I was like, I got to be there. I don't think I could sell against it. And so that's why I made the decision to come over here and be a part of this team and to be a part of the best manufacturer in the battery and solar industry, really. And American, which is really cool too. But I guess without further ado, Jarrett, did you want me to just jump in and go into the slides? Because you could see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yeah, happy to just jump on in. We'll run through your slides. I'm sure people are going to have questions at the end, but Yeah, let's talk about this bad mama jamma, the Powerwall 3, the revolutionary battery that's changing the industry. That's the only thing that I even offer anymore. So why don't you tell everybody about it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. Like I said, I think it'd be pretty hard to sell against this when, to Tom's point earlier, whether you have the backup switch or not, and you're doing it with a gateway, where there are some scenarios that you're going to have to use a gateway for currently SDG&E and PG&E, you could do the backup switch, but SCE will be sometime in September to October. We're expecting the approval. So then we'll have all 3 major IOUs in the state. We already have SMUD up in Sacramento, and LADWP will also be coming on roughly at the same time as SCE. So we'll pretty much have the gamut covered in California. And, I'm located in California. That's where I've been, started and have been selling solar for 17 years. So this is the best market for sure. And, I think we're all lucky to be here with high electricity bills, and that's not going away. So without further ado, I'll jump in real quick. This slide is just representing Elon's master classes, which effectively talked to, our mission at Tesla is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. That's our goal. So transitioning the world to sustainable energy is not an easy task. It's going to take a major overhaul of what we've done with the economy for a very long time. But it would take 240 terawatt hours of storage, 30 terawatts of renewable power. That's $10 trillion in investment. Half the actual land is required for us to do battery packs, and it takes 0.2% of that land area, half the energy required. It's 10% of our world's GDP. I know America would probably chip in a lot of that, but I think that would be a good move. And then we have insurmountable resources in order to accomplish this. So I think that's pretty cool. Some of the things that we can focus on is changing the existing grid, switching to electric vehicles, changing over to heat pumps. Those are all important things, but Tesla's doing this at a huge scale while you guys are doing this every day for every single homeowner, helping them save and change their lives. Specifically the concept of what they have to do to keep the lights on and how they can control that, have predictability, all those good things. We saw a big chasm in the market. That chasm was effectively that all of a sudden you had to have a battery. And MBT is something that the rest of the country is going to experience. It started in Hawaii, came out to California, and it's spreading like wildfire. Every state is going to have to essentially figure out how to make sure that you could design a solar system so that they never pull from the grid, and they're essentially, self-consuming and offsetting all their usage through their solar and their battery. I think one of the guys, I forget his name, just told the story about knocking the door. Great job on that. When it comes to, anyways, I lost my train of thought there, but I was going to mention something about his sale that sparked something. I'll think of it again. But anyways, let me show you what we are as an overall organization from a 10,000 foot view. And this will set the stage for what else we talk about. 16 plus gigawatt hours. So those are massive mega packs and huge things. This is doubling year after year. So it's going to be 32 gigawatt hours and so on and so forth very soon. So massive scale that we're switching over grids to literally battery power and solar power. We have over 600,000 Powerwalls installed across the world, which is more than all the other companies combined by far. So we have a really good idea of how well our product works in every environment, which is really critical for you having confidence to sell this to your homeowners. We also have 500,000 solar systems inside of our portfolio that we got from Solar City. So, at the end of the day, we have all of the data and information we need in order to make sure that we design the next iterations of our product to the level that's needed in order to reach our specific goals. So what that means is we're able to look at it and say, well, out of this 500,000 portfolio, where we have every type of inverter, we have Enphase, SMAs, Fronius, Solar Edge, we have everything in this portfolio. We're like, what is the most efficient? What had the best price? What was the easiest to install? What has the least amount of maintenance? You know, all these things are the critical questions we can ask about this portfolio that's almost 20 years old. And that put us to the drawing board for our engineers and our overall designers to say, how are we going to build the best performance product? We want the highest efficiency DC coupled system. And to be really clear, DC coupled is, yes, we had SMA Sunny Boys too. DC coupled is critical for this NBT world we're in, because it simplifies the architecture and takes out a lot of the redundancy, and where we were moving in a direction of adding more and more parts, more and more things, where it was just getting overloaded, where all of a sudden our labor costs were just through the roof. And it was like, wow, these systems are just getting more and more expensive. And ultimately what that does is somebody who has a $150 bill can't go solar without spending way more. But we had to figure out how to get them back into the fold and say, this is for everybody. It's not just for people who have $400 bills. Solar has to be for everyone. And we see the Powerwall 3 as a seatbelt. And that seatbelt is something every single home needs. You need a seatbelt. You need this protection for your family. You could do a Powerwall 3 without solar if you wanted to, and just have home backup. You know, that's as simple as, you know, it gets. And it'll charge from the grid and provide you home backup. If you were, you know, didn't have the ability to do solar, or you didn't want to, and, you know, hopefully that's pretty rare. Oh, I remember what I was going to mention about your sale, because you said you have a car charger in your home. One of the cool things about the environment, when you buy all things that are Tesla, not just our car, but if you have a Powerwall 3 with a Gateway 3, you're set up for power share with your car. So that could be your additional backup to your home, right? And then the next stage of that is if you had a wall connector, which is our version of a charger, right? That wall connector, we have the ability for the sun literally through the panels to go right into the wall connector. So it's charging directly from the sun, which is really cool. Like most of those chargers don't have that ability. It's because of the other things that are in between it, the Powerwall 3 and the Gateway 3, that would allow you to charge literally directly from the sun. So you know that a battery is not going to provide that much charge to any car, no matter how big that battery is. These batteries in the car are massive, 200 kilowatt hour, you know, they're just huge. So charging directly from the sun is a huge advantage. So just having our whole ecosystem is a major benefit to homeowners. And if they already have a Tesla, you want to have all these parts, because things that are built to work together work better, just like Apple products and things like that. Your product capabilities are going to be that much higher if you're not mixing and matching things. And we're agnostic on panels, by the way. It doesn't matter, you know, there's a lot of good panels out there. They all have very low failure rates, so not an issue. So we wanted to design something that has the best performance. We wanted larger solar systems that you can attach to a better market participation, like I just mentioned. We wanted the most durable product. We wanted something that is going to survive in really frigid temperatures and really, really hot temperatures. That's the key to, you know, having success, because these things always can't be installed inside. Sometimes they have to be installed in the sun. And we have liquid thermal controls that keep that Powerwall 3 cool, just the same liquid thermal controls that's proprietary inside of our vehicles, the same type of technology. And we've made major advancements in the technology inside of this unit that I'll go into a little bit. Easy to install. That was the critical thing I was talking about earlier. The labor has gone up. I mean, we were sitting on properties for 12 hours, which takes 2 days to rewire the whole home. And it's $6,000–7,000 for us to do this. And it started to get to a point where it was so out of control that our cost stack, we couldn't really justify going solar for half the market. So we had to get away from that. And we also solved that problem. We wanted to have simple installation, single app experience, so that you're going from your car, if you have a Tesla, to your solar system, to your battery. You can run diagnostics. We have really great graphing. So if you really want to geek out and get like detailed, I've never seen a monitoring as good as ours. And it's consistently going to get better and better and better from the viewpoint of hours capabilities on the fleet management. It's getting way better, and we're making massive strides. And then the best value, we wanted the lowest priced product on the market, because again, this is a seatbelt that every home needs. And that's one of the critical pieces to us being able to say every home should have this. You got to make it a price point that's low enough for everybody to say it's achievable. So here's our previous iterations of product at Power One, which, you know, if you've been around, it was a very simple battery. Powerwall 2 was around for a long time. And then Powerwall Plus was our transition into Powerwall 3, because if you could see, there's a separate inverter that was not inside of the Powerwall 2. It's literally invertered, and then it's snorkeled into the Powerwall 2. So it became this hybrid product of having a inverter and a battery together. So that was our first step into the Powerwall 3, which is all of the iterations of products before, but better, stronger, faster, more powerful, and fully one piece that's beautiful. And that little light on the front, the T lights up, and I'll show you better pictures of it. But this is where we've been trying to get to for a very long time, which this product is literally head and shoulders above the rest of the industry. And I'll show you why. Let's look at the spec sheet. So you have an 11.5 kW inverter. That is extremely powerful. In California, we have the SGIP program. This would automatically qualify for large SGIP, but we've actually worked it out with SGIP that you can apply for the large one, which is more complicated, or the small one, which is super easy, if that gets rebooted and refilled, that bucket, okay? I think there's some left in maybe one or two of the utilities, but at the end of the day, a huge power inside of this. We wanted to make it super powerful for a lot of reasons, and I'll go into some of that in a little bit too. The 11.5 kW could support 20 kW DC of solar. So you could put on a 20 kW system, and that guy just sold a 20 kW, which is amazing. Could have done that with one Powerwall 3 and without having to upgrade the main service panel, because you'd use PCS controls, which saves you another $3,000 and probably 6 months of waiting. So that's huge because it protects that bus bar. And if that home ever used 200 amps, for example, which would be near impossible for it to do, it would just throttle down the battery and solar so that it protects that bus bar. That's what power control systems do. All of our Powerwall 3s are built in with that. So, you know, this is also, I'll mention here, this Powerwall 3, if you have an existing system, and I know you guys aren't doing retrofits right now, but if you were able to do a system add-on with solar, which is, you know, relative to non-export systems that are going to be happening more and more, where you don't push them in an M3, you keep them in M2, you add 5 kW, you add a Powerwall 3. This Powerwall 3 will AC couple to that original system up to 7.68 kW. So what that means is you can still put on 20 kW DC into that Powerwall 3, and it'll still pair 7.68 kW to that existing system because that system already has inverters. That system's only powering the battery or filling up the battery along with whatever size system you add to that home. They would operate essentially in an ecosystem that's together, but separate in some ways. And that if it was a non-export, then it would never push to the grid. So you have to size it really appropriately. And that's a different topic that we could talk about maybe in another training, another time. But nominal battery power, it's a 13.5 kilowatt hour battery. It's our standard battery that we build in Nevada. We can make 800,000 batteries per year out of the Gigafactory. It's a monster, okay? An absolute monster. We make our inverters in Buffalo, New York, okay? 6 MPPTs. This was the thing where people, I've been selling Enphase for a long time, okay? Believe me, it's a good product. But there's a time to use it and there's a time not to use it. And then there's a huge argument on whether or not it's even viable to use now when you look at the DC architecture that we brought. And I'll glad to debate at any time. But we give you 6 MPPTs, which means 6 different roof faces that have 6 different pitches with 6 different azimuths. So essentially you're able to have an ultimate flexibility and not give up any efficiency, not give up, your ability to design on really any type of house. And that's huge. That's the game changer that we brought, in addition to how powerful this is and how integrated this product is. That really, beckons you making a decision on what's best for your clients. So these are the things, and 185 LRA. Everything in your home has has an LRA, a load rush amperage that's attached to it in order for it to turn on. Like your HVAC systems, big ones are like 115 LRA. This has 185 LRA. That means this is for whole home backup. There's nothing in your house that would not be able to be turned on by this battery. So no more soft starts, no more none of that. This is super powerful, and it backs up the largest loads that your house possibly has. Okay, so that's really important too. So these are the things that it could back up. And I want to mention, you guys aren't going to be having your clients, you have to educate them, because if you're doing a backup switch, which you want to do every single time, because it's far less expensive and it's a better overall benefit to the homeowner. It's whole home backup. Every single thing behind that meter is backed up. So these things could be backed up. Does it mean that you want to use these things if the power is actually out? No, you probably don't want to be running these things when the power is actually out. You could be running these things while using your battery power on a day when the power is not out. Absolutely do that. But when the power's out, you want to educate your homeowner and say, look, don't be pumping your AC because it'll drain a single battery in about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Okay. And what if the power's out for 12 hours? You need to make sure your whole essentials are running, right? So be cognizant of that. Educate your homeowners that we're not just giving you partial home backup with the backup switch. This is whole home backup. Everything will turn on and be running, even in a power outage. So you just got to be smart about what you use when the power's out. Our app experience is really great. We just rolled out our VPP program, so our virtual power plant. You can make up to $350 a year. So they could start monetizing this thing. And that's phenomenal, because over 10 years, you're going to make $3,500 back. And that's pretty awesome, right? In addition to that, you have the power hours. So you're going to be able to push more power than anything else out there on the market. And this is a little graph we did to show SolarEdge, Enphase, then Tesla. So you're going to be saving roughly $5,000 more than SolarEdge and $3,300 more than Enphase. And you're going to do it with a lower price point, by the way. I grabbed a picture real quick that I'd love to show you guys. I'm not trying to bash them, but in some ways I need to make sure that it's understood. Here's one picture. Let's see if I can, let me open this up, sorry. Here's one picture. This is a Tesla 2 Powerwall install. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, good. That's a 2 Powerwall 3s. Those lights in the front light up like, pretty cool. And then let me show you an install that I just got wind of that somebody sent over. And that was an Enphase install, which maybe here this is that's 10, 20, 30. So you're almost at the same thing from side by side as this to this. Which one would you want on your wall is kind of my question. That's a pretty big difference. But anyways, I'm not going to harp on that. Just thought I'd show it to you. All right, this is an important slide.
And Stuart, let's just be honest really quick.
Again, the DC architecture is critical because you're not inverting and losing power from solar to battery to home. And you will lose 3% because we're 89% efficient versus their 86, because you're having to get DC power that inverts on the roof to AC, okay? And then AC back to DC and then DC back to AC in your home. So not the smartest architecture when we need to maximize our battery and what's providing this backup for this additional cost. You want to have the most efficient way of putting this into your home, and DC architecture is by far meets that level that we need. This is a cool picture because imagine 20 kW of solar power coming into your Powerwall 3. Your home is getting literally 11.5 kW of continuous power. So if you are consuming a ton of power in your home, it's going to absolutely directly push that power from the solar panels while it's charging the battery at 5 kW continuous power as well. So that's 16.5 kW continuous power, which is head and shoulders above the rest. I mean, like probably double and some triple the power you're providing to the home and to the battery at the same time, which is another mind-blowing thing when you look at the comparisons of products out there. This gives you a little bit better idea. This is pretty much our Powerwall 2 that everybody else is still living in. All they could do is do solar to the home and battery at the same time at a smaller amount. And you see how that the actual bell charge spread out. Now, what we're doing with Powerwall 3, because of the power difference of 11.5 to 7.6 is where most of the other guys are living, is you're able to literally solar to the home at a massive scale and power the battery at the same time. So look at that bell graph, how it's more inverted. That makes a huge difference on what it could do in any moment's time and throughout the day. So it's very, very different from what else is being done out there.
Hey, Stuart,
All
really
right, let's
quick,
look
just
at the
quick.
design
Hey,
a little
Stuart.
bit. What
Stuart,
we
can you hear me?
discovered with this 500,000 home portfolio is that literally
Can you hear me?
80 to 93% of homes do not need panel level electronics, which are, by the way, 2/3 the cost more. And as the system gets bigger, your cost just keeps going up for every panel. So it starts to get a little out of control as you start getting into bigger and bigger systems, which doesn't make sense because the more you buy, the less it should be, and so on. You know, I mean, that's kind of a motto we all understand. So what we discovered and what we move towards again is everything is on the side of your house except the panels and the mid-circuit interrupters, which are little credit card sized things that go in between a panel, every third panel, and I'll show you a different picture of it, but basically you have total flexibility on design. You have 6 MPPTs. So if you needed more than 6 roof faces, which is very rare that you need more than 6, then do 2 Powerwall 3s and you get 12 roof faces. Everything doubles if you do a second Powerwall 3. I have 2 because I wanted total peace of mind. Everybody needs 1, but if you have 2, that's just total peace of mind. You're not going to run out of energy. You'll be able to get through the evening, even if your family is typically using a lot. Obviously, we want to measure that. Maybe they need 3 or 4 that you could do on a single backup switch or a single gateway. You absolutely can, but 2 to 12 modules per string. So you could be on 2 modules like this string or up to roughly 12, say on this string. And these are all attaching into a single Powerwall 3, and all of these roof planes are operating independently of the other. So on this roof face, if this panel was shaded, only these 3 panels would be affected. Nothing else would be affected, okay? So it's 97 to 97.5% efficient. What that means is that you are looking at 0.6% or 0.01% difference from microinverters, which is like you're getting the same efficiency, almost the same flexibility, because you can go to 2 panels instead of 1, but typically you don't want to do 1 because a single panel is a lot of penetrations into the roof. It costs more, and people try to avoid single panels like it's an island panel. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but you can. At any rate, I think that's pretty critical. What we discovered is that your levelized cost of energy, it's something that we coined, LCOE, your levelized cost of energy, which is what everybody should be concerned about. How much did you pay and how much are you getting? Okay, how much did you pay and how much are you getting? You are going to get roughly 15% more for your money with a Tesla Powerwall 3 and the Tesla DC architecture system than a microinverter system or panel level electronics. Okay, that is huge because 15%, last time I checked, if I even got 15% more in my portfolio, I would be ecstatic. I mean, that's a lot of money, right? So think about it in that type of concept. And I think it makes a little more sense. So some of the new architecture that we put in, it's new heating architecture. So it can go up to hotter temperatures and still operate better because it actually has separation between each one of those battery cells. So it's just able to not be overheated across the entire battery. It's in small sections. So it makes it work a lot better. It has those liquid thermal controls that I talked about, but it goes down to colder and hotter temperatures. All of our systems have storm watch. They're all smart. They're just a really big computer at the top of the Powerwall 3 that allows you to constantly get updates and for it to continuously be advanced. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But this, you guys are only going to hear the volume on. Oop. Let's see. I'm going to make my phone.
Stuart, we can't hear you anymore.
Sorry, I'm going to mute this and go back to this so you can hear it through my phone. Yeah, we won't do volume. We're not going to do volume. So basically what we're showing here is that the Powerwall 3 is 28 inches submerged in a fish tank and still operating perfectly. So this technology can literally be 28 inches submerged, almost the entire thing, and it will not damage that product and be operating perfectly fine. And the AI inside of it is watching as the water rises. And if it gets to 28 inches, it makes a decision. Is the water going to continue to rise or is it going to recede? And it knows if it's receding and it will stay on. If it starts to go above 28 inches, it shuts off, which is really cool because we've had some of the biggest floods in California history over the last year. So this should be a concern. Anything else on your property that you bought submerged in water is not going to survive. It's not going to. So that's a big deal in a lot of markets. So this architecture is important because this is the DC architecture. This is what we've been accustomed to selling. A microinverter for every panel. You know, you might have multiple competitors, you know, mixed into here. Could be a solar edge with an N-phase battery. You know, it could be a lot of these things. You start mix matching manufacturers, you're getting less efficiencies, you're getting less functionality. It just lends to more and more parts, more and more redundancy. So what we found is, first of all, the panels these days do a lot of shade mitigation on the front of the panel. They have split panels, they have multiple diodes, so that half a panel can be shaded and it's still operating. So we're getting a little bit redundant by having microinverters behind the panel. We don't need that anymore. You need to plug this into a single, really powerful, really efficient inverter, central inverter, that's all attached into the Powerwall 3. These are MCIs, so every third panel has a small credit card sized device that connects in between the wires between the panels. And all it does is go on or off, on or off. That's all it does. And those are 25-year warranties, just like your panels on your roof. Not even inclusive of, you know, the power warranty, the 30-year, that would be an additional. Those would all be additionally insured. And the inverter itself, that's something up to, like you mentioned, Jarrett, it's in the power warranty. Like the inverter absolutely may be part of your warranty because you can fab out the inverter and replace just the inverter and keep the battery that you had. So that's something that's done on the side of the house. Imagine when you go to a house now, it's never good to walk on the roof, okay, of any house. So once you get installed, you don't want anybody up on there again if you can help it, okay? So now nobody ever has to get up on your roof again. The panels are fail at 0.0001%. You're never gonna have a panel fail on you typically. You'd be better off trying to win the lottery. So you have the MCIs and the panels. Neither of those really fail. So you're in good shape there. If anything ever happens to the system, there's a single guy on the side of your house fixing your inverter, fixing any wiring. And if we need to replace it, they'll pull it off the wall, send it in and get it refabbed and sent back. You know, it's as simple as that. So you don't have 2 or 3 guys on the roof removing panels for multiple hours, to get to microinverters or optimizers. Like those are the things that typically fail. So it's a huge difference on the operation and maintenance for your company, which really does add up. Because you end up charging the homeowner for extra labor. So let's check this up. This is just a video showing like the ease of installation. I know we're at 10:56. Jarrett, how much time do I have?
We could go as long as you need. It's fine.
I couldn't hear you. I don't know if.
Yeah, I don't know why. Can you guys hear me? Can anybody else hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Jarrett.
Yeah.
Stuart, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I can hear you now. I had to turn, something was, my speaker thing was turned off. Go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, I was trying to talk to you on a few different points here, but you couldn't
sorry,
hear me.
man.
No, it's all good. All
My
good. Yeah,
bad.
hey, just take as much time as you need, man.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll show this video real quick, and I'm gonna send you guys this whole presentation deck, okay? So don't worry about that. You'll have this whole deck. All right, so cool. Yeah. Okay, so here's the computer and the inverter at the top of the Powerwall 3. Tons of workable space. Here's your 6 MPPTs, which allows you 6 different roof faces. You want to try to optimize that each time. So even if you're on a single roof face, if there is shade that rolls over that roof, it's all, and say it's 36 panels, for example, you want to split that into 6 groups of 6. So that they're operating even on the same roof face independently of one another, right? It's not just one huge string. So that's makes a ton of sense to do. So you would go from 3 to 6 instead, because 12 is the maximum, right? Per string. So that makes a ton of sense. And anyways, installers love doing this. You could see from that video, there was a few things I'll point out real quick that we also invented, is this electric dolly. So a single person can install a Powerwall 3 by themselves, which is like really not something we've been able to do. These things are really heavy, like almost 300 pounds, right? So you have multiple people, multiple guys in the job. These guys are going to be that the C10s or the battery guys are going to be done on the job before the guys are done with the solar on the roof, which is unheard of in our industry. Those guys are usually there for 2 days. Well, the solar guys are way done and gone to the next job. So this dolly is amazing. This is the electric slide. So they take them out of the trunk. It slides down this little gurney and it slows down at the end. So it doesn't slam at the bottom. It slows it down. It has little footings in here so it fits on it. Then you open it up, you put the dolly on, you pull it out of there. And then you wheel it over and it electrically goes up. So you can mount this thing by yourself. This is an MC cable. So if you're within 15 feet of the main service panel, you're going to typically use this flex MC cable, this all-in-one cable for all the communications and comm wiring and power wiring. So it's like super simple. You could run this 100 feet through an attic space over to the location of the main service panel. If it's on the opposite side of the house, for example, like it makes it a hell of a lot easier when you're doing the install at any type of installation. But let's continue to look at these videos I think are really critical. This is the old way, guys. You have your Powerwall 2, you have a inverter, you have a critical loads panel, you have your gateway, and then you have your main service panel. Like, look at all that stuff. And that's way cleaner than the competition, but it's still a lot of stuff. Create a lot of labor, a lot of rewiring. It's still a big lift. This is now what you're looking at. Solar comes down on the Powerwall 3. You land a 60 amp breaker inside of the main service panel. The backup switch goes on, snorkels back into the Powerwall 3. You're done. That's it. The whole home is backed up. And this is partial backup over here, by the way. This is whole home backup. I mean, what an advancement, right? This is the backup switch in a blown out picture. This is what goes on the front of the meter now. And everything behind this meter that this backup switch is now connecting into is backed up. Simple as that. Let's look at this video. Keep your eye on the new way, not the old way, because it goes pretty quick. The new way, we're putting up the Powerwall. This is a Powerwall Plus. Imagine it being a Powerwall 3. Lands a 60 amp breaker, puts on the backup switch. What happens so fast, you couldn't even see it. Connects in, wires it in. Bam, done, 20 minutes. So in perfect scenarios like this, say you're within 15 feet of the main service panel, you can get this done in about an hour. I would say 5 times the 20 minutes because this is a staged event. These guys have been working for 4 hours. That's really like 12 hours. They got to rewire the whole house. Look at all the boxes, wire runs, gutters. I mean, this is like, that's, you know, and the opportunity for error from installers, and these guys are good, but one thing they do wrong, that thing's arcing, throwing off errors. They got to go back to the property. I mean, they had to rewire the whole home. It's a lot of work. No longer do you have to do that if you're accepted inside of these utilities. SCE is in here. It's going to happen in the next couple months. I couldn't, you know, they should have been done in April, but we got pushed back and had to redo some stuff with them. A long story short, September to October, they will be fully loaded, as well as LADWP. And these are the rest of the places in the country. This whole map is going to be covered. Our compliance team is working on that daily. This is our DC expansion packs. This is another huge game changer. So do you guys recall right here in this picture, this little plug allows you remove this from the wall, and then you literally put on a DC expansion pack, which is just the battery without the inverter on the top. And you just doubled your kilowatt hour capacity in like 20 minutes like that. No other things do you have to do upstream. You don't touch any of the other electrical. Everything's done. You just doubled their kilowatt hour capacity. So you guys will be doing these because you're going to be forced to, because homeowners are going to want to double their kilowatt hour capacity and go to, you know, 27 kilowatt hours. And you guys could do it in 20 minutes. Literally. That's how cool that is. And this is a picture of, so you could do up to 3 of these stacked behind the power unit. The blue ones are the power units that have the inverter. So imagine if you had 15 kW of solar, it all plugged into here, then you just literally pigtail through 2 or 3 more or 1 more battery to double or triple, quadruple their battery capacity, their kilowatt hour capacity. So I think that's going to be a very big common sale, because once they go Powerwall 3, they're like, you know what, I want to do another one. They get even more things going electrical in their house, more electric cars, other things. They'll get another one. So it's going to continuously happen and be, you know, ongoing business for you guys. So basically, you could do 4 Powerwall 3s on a single gateway or a single backup switch right now. And these are all the power unit ones that have their own inverters. So if you had a 20 kW, you have to split it evenly amongst the 4 Powerwall 3s. So it'd be 5, 5, 5, and 5 that you would plug solar into, okay? And now with the DC expansions that are coming out in Q4, you can literally add and be at a total of 16 batteries on a home, giving them 216 kilowatt hours of backup. Now, very few people or homes will need this, but I urge you to, I would, if you sell one of these 16 batteries, I'm getting you sent out to the Gigafactory in Nevada. I'm trying to get some sort of promotion going for people who hit that or are the largest sellers of Powerwall 3. But this would be probably for a 25,000 square foot mansion, you know, Rancho Santa Fe style, or, you know, wherever you live in California that there is those homes. They would need that. And some people will want that. and they don't care about the price. So that's pretty much what I wanted to go through. So I'll open it up for questions now, and I'll drop this deck into the chat so you guys can have this.
Awesome. Stuart, this is incredible. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all this. I mean, first of all, you guys can all see why I've only been selling Powerwall 3s with all the great technology, the backup switch, how powerful it is, whole home on one battery. And here's the cherry on top, you guys. It's less expensive than all of the competition as well. So like when you combined all those things together, it's really an easy decision for a homeowner to make. I guess as far as questions go, I do have a few, and then there were some in the chat, and we'll try to run through these quick to honor everybody's time. Can we talk about the warranty really quick?
Yeah.
So I believe you guys have it's a 10-year warranty on the battery, correct?
Yeah, right. I put it on the screen here.
Yeah, we can see you now. All good. So 10-year warranty on the Powerwall 3 on the battery itself. I also know the inverter is part of the battery. So does that mean the inverter has a 10-year warranty as well?
Correct.
Okay. And we'll have to talk to Powur to see if with PowerCare, if the inverter is covered in the extended warranty or not. We'll have to double check on that. Any plans to extending that warranty?
I'm getting a lot of echo, so let's move off that. Okay, so there is no plans to extend the warranty. So I'll give you this. So the batteries are going to last somewhere between 17 and 27 years. Okay, so your battery's going to last a long time. You're never going to throw out your battery. You might do a DC expansion pack because your battery's operating at 60% in year 15, for example. So you would maybe add to it, but you would never throw out that battery because it's still working. It's just not working at what it was for the first 14 years or whatever. Then your inverter, when we do a standalone inverter, it's a 12 and a half year warranty. It's a 12 and a half year warranty. So we never give warranties that are beyond or at the timeline it's going to, be operating for. So we have every expectation that these centralized inverters that are built like tanks are going to operate for 20 years. Now, you're paying 1/3 the cost for the inverter compared to microinverters and getting the same efficiency, same flexibility and design in an all-in-one package. You could buy that inverter 3 times over 25 years and still not spend as much as you were getting with a 25-year microinverter warranty, which is mind-blowing too, right? So even if you had to replace it once, you're still winning. So I'll take you off of mute because I can't do mute and hear you.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you for answering that. The other thing is so in the event of a blackout, and I think you alluded to this with the Tesla system, right? Tesla inverters, are you able to power the home without taking and power and charge the battery simultaneously without just running straight from the battery?
Correct. So, to do that each time. So in an outage, you are going to be essentially just on you have your system still operating and pushing power to the home if the sun's still out, right? So you're going to be pushing power to the home and it's going to be filling up the battery simultaneously. So you have 16.5 kW of continuous power, which is literally like double anything else out there, which is insane because if you're using a ton in the home and the sun's still out and the power's out, no big deal. You're running the home off that solar, but it's also preparing the battery for the evening. If this power outage was to go into the evening, then you would still have that battery backup. And it's prerogative if it knows the power's out, it's going to make sure it retains that battery until the evening so that it's only, so it's going to get you through the night. So that's, the battery's very smart.
Got it. Perfect. Love that. And then John Bobness asked, if either the battery is not operational, does the internal inverter continue to work? Like, where do you guys have a single point of failure? Is there one piece that can knock the whole thing out?
So the inverter could still work if the battery for some reason was shut down. That's a very rare case. Like that would be a red flag where we'd have to look at that system, maybe have it reset, or there would be something larger going on. But yes, in essence, the battery the inverter could still function with the solar if the battery was not operating and not discharging or doing something funny. That environment can still be operating with the battery still doing something out of the ordinary that we would and Powur would get notification on to check into, look into what's going on with that system, which we would fix right away.
Okay, got it. And then Carrie did ask, can N-phase inverters communicate with the Powerwall 3?
So as I mentioned before, AC coupling is what that's called. So it's your AC coupling. You can AC couple up to 7.68 kW with N-phase, solar, any of them. So this Powerwall 3 will AC, you could just do a single Powerwall 3 and add it onto a home, and it'll AC couple up to 7.68 kW. And you can still add 20 kW DC of new solar.
Incredible. And then hold on. Last thing, John said, if a client needs a warranty replacement, what is the estimated time to receive that replacement?
Yeah, that's a good question. If it's a total refab, Tesla will take it in if it's within warranty. And if we can't fix it, it might be a brand new Powerwall 3 they get. So, but we'll try to refab it. If we can't, and it can't be refabbed or as well, then we would just replace it. But the timeline, I don't know. It could be they're out for a couple of weeks. Again, we're in America typically with most of the things that are being built. There is some overseas building. So it depends on where it's going to, like all those things would come in as factors.
Got it. Well, hey, look at Stuart, I really want to appreciate you for your time. I know we're running late, but I wanted to be able to ask everybody's questions. I'm sure we'll have you on again. I will let you know that I am a huge fan and advocate of the Powerwall 3. It's been a game changer for helping homeowners here in California. And yeah, I'm super stoked. Oh, one last question though. For homes in the Northeast, where it gets extremely cold, what is the temperature rating on a Powerwall 3? Is that a concern when, I mean, shoot, I'm up here in North Idaho where temps can easily get, -10, -20 at some points. Not for long periods of time, but it could be like a cold spell that runs through. Is that a concern?
Yeah, let me, I think so. First, I think it goes up to 122 degrees on the top end, okay, before it might need to go into like cool mode, right?
Okay.
Which is really, right? And then it goes to, I believe it's like somewhere around the range of -40, but I can pull up hold on, let me see if I can grab a cut sheet real quick.
-40 is cold.
I would have to bring it up inside somewhere else. But I believe it's somewhere around -40 to 122. But I could send you an email, Jarrett, if you want to follow up. I can get you that answer.
That's awesome. No, -40 is plenty cold. And that's more than acceptable. Yeah, if you could drop those slides in the chat, people are asking for them. Not sure if you did, or if you want to email them over, that would be great as well.
Inside the chat. So you have the deck inside of there, and I also put my email in there, StuMiller@Tesla.com. But the deck should be uploaded. It's a PDF, this whole deck that we went through.
Did not see it. Does anybody else see it in there? Tom, do you see it? No, maybe if you can, if you can put it back in there, maybe one more time.
I got it.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this recording. If you can stick around, if you guys have any other questions, maybe we can ask a couple more, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Drop some love for Stuart in the chat. Thank you very much for coming on. And thank you, everybody, for this week's edition of Power Hitters Solar Warrior Tribe Tuesday training. And we will see you guys on Masterclass tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific.
And I dropped it there again, guys. So it's there. I see it. It checked off Powerwall 3. It's on there.
Perfect. Thanks, buddy.